Are you thinking about moving to the Woodlands, Texas, but you're new to the Texas area, you may not know much about our community and you want to know more? Then this video is perfect for you. My name is Chase with the Giles real estate team. I've lived in the Woodlands for 18 years, and on this video today, I'm going to jump in on Google Maps in my computer, and we're going to walk through a map kind of overview of what the Woodlands is, where it's located, and how you navigate it, and all the details that you need to know. The Woodlands, Texas is considered one of the best neighborhoods to live in all of the United States. In fact, the last 2 years in a row, it's been rated the #1 neighborhood to live in the US, according to Niche magazine. So it was a master plan community. It originally started being built in 1973, and the first residents moved here in 1974. And since then, it's grown in popularity, in size, and in development too. There continues to be a large amount of businesses and people relocating to the Houston area, and they choose the Woodlands, Texas to be their next place to live. So on today's video, I'm going to give you an overview of how to navigate the Woodlands, and we're going to hop in Google Maps right now to do it. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is talk about where the Woodlands is located. So we are a North Houston community, which means that we are obviously just north of Houston. We're about 35 miles from downtown Houston, which depending on time of day could range from anywhere from 35 minutes along I-45, this main highway, or up to 50 minutes depending on traffic. So the Woodlands, like I said, was built in 1974, and the very first village was the village here of Grogan's Mill. We've got a whole nother video on the villages of the Woodlands that gives you a good idea of the style and the different features and amenities that they have. Whenever we talk about the Woodlands, we typically talk about it as the front or the back of the Woodlands. So the front of the Woodlands is going to be up here along I-45, the furthest east, and then the west part of the Woodlands is what we refer to as the back of the Woodlands, is here along this farm to market road called 2978. Whenever you first arrive in the Woodlands, you're probably going to exit off of Woodlands Parkway, which is this main thoroughfare here, and you're going to see some big commercial buildings. You're going to see the Woodlands Mall, and that's what attracts a lot of people. So we can see here, you can see a great example of, some of these large commercial buildings. There's 3 main east to west running roads, and that's Woodlands Parkway, Lake Woodlands, and Research Forest. And the north-south running roads are going to be Kirkendall, you're going to have Gosling, Grogan's Mill, and then one in the back, it's called Branch Crossing. So I mentioned before the villages of the Woodlands, and I'm going to show you this kind of graphic right here. It's a good way to kind of break it up. So again, we've got I-45 here, and we've got our 9 villages. So we've got Grogan's Mill, Town Center, College Park, Alden Bridge, Cochran's Crossing, Panther Creek, Indian Springs, Creekside, and Sterling Ridge. We're also going to include Eashore in that town center area. So I really want to just give you an overview of how things work in the Woodlands, because one of the common things that our clients talk about is whenever they first move here or they come visit, it can be hard to navigate because, as I say, we really do put the woods in the Woodlands. There are tons of pine trees in our community. And George Mitchell, who is the founder of the Woodlands, really wanted to preserve that nature lifestyle, like living amongst nature in our community. And so there are pine trees everywhere. So we have low signage. Homes are hidden behind trees to really have this element of privacy. We don't have tall billboards, or we don't have utility lines. They're all buried underground so that you feel like you're more immersed in nature. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the town center area of the Woodlands, because it's probably, whenever you come visit and whenever you first move to the Woodlands and whenever you research the Woodlands, it's probably going to be the first thing that you see. So I'm actually going to switch us over here to this satellite view to give us a better perspective. You're first going to notice, this is the front area, and this is where there's the most commercial, but yet it's surrounded by all these trees and golf courses like you can see here. So in the front of the Woodlands, you've got the Woodlands Mall. It's one of the biggest main attractions. There's kind of 3 or 4 main attractions right in this town center area that bring all the people in and where you have to visit. So the first is the Woodlands Mall. Second is Market Street area. Those are going to be your 2 main kind of shopping and dining options. There's going to be some high-end stuff there. Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Nordstrom, all the way to some really cool new restaurants. We have a Tommy Bahama, and they're just opening up a brand new restaurant in Market Street called 60 Vines. There's a Tesla store, Kendra Scott. I mean, Lululemon, it really has it all there. Takovas. There's a Cheesecake Factory and some cool new local restaurants. The Woodlands Mall has everything you could possibly want in it, and tons of additional parking. In fact, they just announced that they're going to be doing an expansion on it for some additional stores and hotels. This right here, the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, is going to be another huge attraction to the Woodlands area, and it's going to attract big headliner concerts. The Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion is actually the second largest amphitheater in the nation. And so there's a big lawn seating. You've got physical seating here. Both of the high schools in the Woodlands are also going to do their graduations from the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. There's, like I said, big concerts. There's ballets. There's lots of different fine arts that display their work at the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. It's definitely a big hit. Another big thing that people love is the waterway. So just around or just south of the pavilion is the Woodlands Waterway. It's a man-made sort of canal that brings in a lot of restaurants and walkability. People love this as an attraction to come here and maybe see a movie or go to the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion, and then you get to hang out and walk around, after dinner or something there. And then again, another thing that I want to bring up is the Hughes Landing area. It's another fine dining area outside of kind of the main town center area. It's getting a little bit more residential. That's going to bring people in. As I mentioned, all of this is going to be surrounded by neighborhoods, golf courses, walking trails, and tons of trees. So again, this is the village of Grogan's Mill. As we zoom in, it should auto-populate it. The Woodlands Resort is also located here. It's ranked one of the best hotels in all of Texas. Really, really great spot. A really big attraction in a classic Woodland staple is Lake Woodlands. Now, this isn't a lake that you can go and boat on like Lake Conroe. You can do kayaks, you can do canoeing, you can use a boat, but it has to be with an electric motor there. Really fun to rent a kayak from the Riva Row Boathouse here on the waterway and then take it all the way down. Very easy to do that and explore Lake Woodlands. So as we kind of make our way further east, things get primarily residential. Now, in our villages video, we talk about how each village is going to have its own anchor grocery store. So for instance, we'll zoom in here. We'll go to Sterling Ridge, or actually this is the Indian Springs one. So we've got the village of Indian Springs, down through here, but there's the Indian Springs Center. So if we click on this, we can see there's going to be an HEB. You're going to have multiple different, I'll go in and just zoom in a little bit more. An HEB, there's going to be food, there's going to be banks, there's going to be, gas station, quick lubes, car washes. There's even like allergy places and dental places that you can go to. Just north of this is also located the Sterling Ridge Shopping Center. So you're going to have a Kroger and a Cava. Everything that you need. You don't have to go all the way to the front of the Woodlands or even down into Houston. You can access it in your local village shopping center. So there's one for each village, and you're not bound to use the one that's just local and close to you. You can go all over. So if I want to go to the Chick-fil-A, I'm going to go to the Alden Bridge Shopping Center where the closest Chick-fil-A is located to me, right? Or if I have a preference on a grocery store, I can go there. Let's see here. The back of the Woodlands has been developed a lot recently. So there's a lot more commercial real estate that's popped up kind of in this Magnolia area, which is really great. And it provides, a lot more amenities to people that live in the Woodlands. And so you don't have to go, back here from Sterling Ridge all the way to the front of the Woodlands to grab a bite to eat or something like that, because there's more development close by there. Now, something to realize is the Woodlands is just over 8 miles long in width. And so if you do live in the back of the Woodlands in Sterling Ridge somewhere, and you do need to commute down to Houston for your job, that's something to consider, because it's going to take additional time, maybe if traffic's bad, maybe 20 minutes to get to the front of the Woodlands, and then your commute, downtown. This other map that I had here is actually a great feature of the Woodlands that I want to bring up, and it's the Woodlands Park and Ride Center. So let's say you do have to commute downtown. There are 3 locations for park and rides in the Woodlands. Park your car, hop on the bus, and take that downtown to Houston. Now, it's going to drop off in a variety of locations, so you have to check to do that, but it's downtown, Energy Corridor, there's Greenway Plaza, I believe. There's also the medical center is one too. So I have friends personally, and my wife has taken the park and ride system all the way down into Houston. So as I mentioned, the Woodlands was originally built in Grogan's Mill. That was the first village. And as it began to expand, they began to build west. And so the homes back here in Sterling Ridge are going to be newer than the homes in Grogan's Mill. And the newest village is actually one down here called Creekside. So something important to know is the majority of all the Woodlands is going to be in Montgomery County. There's a river, or kind of a creek down here. It's called Spring Creek, that runs and kind of separates 2 parts of the Woodlands, from Montgomery County and from Harris County. So there's a George Mitchell Nature Preserve, which the Woodlands has access to from 2 locations. Very nice feature that I like to utilize personally. But Creekside Park is going to be the newest village in the Woodlands. So you're going to have, the newest construction there. And if you're looking for something a little bit more contemporary, that may be the option. Now, the Woodlands is totally built out. There is no more new construction unless you are looking to tear down a home and build a luxury home, either in Carlton Woods or sometimes in Grogan's Mill. But those are going to be pretty expensive. And so if you want a brand new house or close to new home, you're going to have to look in Creekside to make that happen. The next thing I want to talk about is the schools. Let me just Google this here up top. And we're going to see all these red dots pop up. So there are 2 main schools in the Woodlands. It's 2 main high schools in the Woodlands. It's the Woodlands High School and College Park. And there are intermediate schools that feed to those, and elementary schools. And depending on what village you live in, depends on what school you're going to go to. So we've got a video on just schools in the Woodlands. But as you can see here, I'll zoom in on as much as I can on the Woodlands High School. So Woodlands High School, very centrally located. There's a football field and a track. There's a baseball field. There's a big athletic field. Tons of parking for all the students. That's going to be there. College Park is going to be located a little bit more north, off of 242, right here. And it's going to be newer. It's the newer of the 2 high schools. Both are really great. We've got, again, a video on the schools, and Niche Magazine can definitely give you some more information about the school ratings. So then you're going to see things like some private school options, some elementary schools. So if you live back here in Sterling Ridge, you're going to have your own elementary schools and intermediate schools. Darrachin, Bear Branch is actually zoned to Magnolia, but you're gonna see that the potentially Colson Tough. We've got some clients that live in this neighborhood right here, and they can walk their kids to this school. The Woodlands has a 9th grade campus just for the 9th graders, so it's a nice transition phase to high school. And again, so no matter where you live, you're going to have easy access to the school, the feeder school, elementary, junior high, like that, stuff like that. That's closest to you. One of the other biggest attractions of the Woodlands is how immersed we are in our nature and how many parks we have. And so next I want to show you a couple parks that are going to pop up. And again, this is going to be a small list compared to the actual amount of neighborhood parks. So the way the villages are really broken up and the Woodlands is broken up is we're going to have a large park for a village, and then a lot of smaller ones located around in close by your neighborhood. So for instance, just outside of my neighborhood, there's a little pond and some benches and a grill. That's a park. But then there's also Shadowbend Park, which is just up the street from my house, where there's tennis courts and a swimming pool and volleyball courts. And so it's a much larger size to service, a lot more people. but there are plenty of green spaces, around our community. So you can see here, just how many small little parks there are. And then we can click on, for instance, Shadowbend Park, the one that I mentioned. And you're going to see, kids playing. This is access to the swimming pool. We got play sets. There's a cool little bridge and a gravel track that runs around it. And so you can get all your steps in. You've got nature kind of everywhere. Pretty cool options that they provide. And this is, again, all over the Woodlands. Again, the Woodlands has a lot to offer, and it can be a little tricky whenever you first move here. And so we want to be able to give our expertise to you and provide you with as much knowledge as possible. We're all about living in nature, and it can be, a little overwhelming. There's so many amazing things like golf courses and all the green space that we have that really add to the quality of life. One of my favorite things about living in the Woodlands is actually that there's a lack of stimulation, if you will. So we're not being bombarded by all these bright lights and billboards and things. That's all removed, and it's all left, at I-45, and you're really not hit with all that kind of advertisement around. But it's important to know where you're going and how to navigate the Woodlands, because things aren't as obvious as they may be. So it's a give and take there, if you will. So, if you're interested in learning more about the Woodlands and you want more information, again, my name is Chase with the Giles Real Estate Team. We have people all the time that reach out to us from these YouTube videos, so don't be shy. Give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email with my information down below. I'd love to talk to you, learn about, your home search and your possible move here to the Woodlands, Texas, and we'd love to be able to bring you into our community. Thanks so much for watching our video, and we'll see you on the next one.